Welcome back to Coach's Corner for our second segment, and joined by the Rainy River baseball team members, not the whole team. Jeez, we wouldn't have room for that. As joined by head coach Josh Koenig and also by Rob Ermel, Brandon Holberg, and Jay Cheney. And coach, I had to get you on this weekend or next weekend because it's already getting towards the end of the season.
Yeah, it's come quickly as it does every year. And I told the guys here before we started conference play when we had our nice 2.5 week break due to the weather.
It was only 2.5 weeks.
About 2.5 weeks. We squeezed a doubleheader in there, but
it seemed like a month and a half to me.
Yeah, it did. But I told them, I said 22 games in 25 days, and we had to lock in and get ready for the long haul. And so yeah, it's been out of my 9 years doing this has been the most trying as far as rescheduling of games.
I was going to ask because it seemed like a couple of years ago we went through a very similar, situation where things didn't go so well, but this is even tighter than a couple of years. Well, of course you didn't really get a chance to play down south even.
Right. Well, it was 2013 was the last time, and we ended up doing a double elimination conference tournament to get our. We played everybody once and then got a tournament in for qualifying. And this year, fortunately for us, we were at the advantage in the north versus the central and the south. We're the only division that's playing all 16 of their conference games. Everybody else has a different format. So we're excited about that.
Brandon, let's introduce yourself, where you're from, and how you ended up in International Falls, Minnesota.
I'm 21, from Tucson, Arizona.
These guys from Arizona, I don't know how you pull it off. Keep going. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
Right. I've had a couple of friends play up here a couple years ago. Jamin, Cody, Andrew, all of them were up here.
Okay.
I actually had Tommy John surgery last January, so fortunately enough, Koenig was there, helped me out through the ways, got me up here.
So it's been a positive experience?
Absolutely.
Even despite the weather, you wouldn't change it?
A little different, being from Arizona.
A little?
But yeah, even through the weather, we've been in the gym just grinding it out, been waiting for our opportunity.
Rob, you got the microphone put into your hands, so let's do the same. Introduce yourself, where you're from, and I know this is year 2 for you.
Yeah, this is my second year. I'm from Saskatchewan, Canada. 20 years old. I was in Winnipeg playing in a tournament when Koenig saw me playing and came out to talk to me, and been here since. Love it. It's great, small community. I'm just in love with the place here. Kind of sad it's coming to an end soon.
Yeah, catcher,
yes sir.
So I don't take this the wrong way, but I put you in the same classification as a goalie.
Yeah, I play goalie.
Little different. Don't take that the wrong way. You got a little crazy, a different mindset, something that you have to do. Jay Cheney, let's get your 15 seconds in here as well.
Well, I'm also 20 and I'm from Blackduck, Minnesota. This is my second year as well. It's crazy how fast it's going. I remember when I emailed Coach Koenig about coming up here, he responded and gave me an opportunity.
Well, from what I saw on Wednesday, it was a pretty good opportunity because I'll just say it this way: every time I was playing with my son, and every time I heard the crack of the bat, I was turning around and it was you running towards first base. You were squaring it up pretty well.
Yeah, I've been seeing the ball a lot, really well, the last couple of days in practice and in the game, and that just having good at bats.
So you're making coach's job tough, is what you're trying to tell me, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Make him think a little bit.
Yep.
Good problem to have, right, Coach?
It is a good problem to have. We look at how we were hitting the ball coming out of Florida as a team. We were struggling. We were trying to do too much with it. We're not taking good quality at bats. In that 2.5 weeks that we had in the gym, I made the most of it with the drills we were doing and the work we were doing, and in the last 2 weeks I think our team batting average has jumped up about 50 points. So we knew all along our pitching staff's very solid this year. They've done a nice job for us. Our defense we've been very impressed with overall. A few throwing errors here and there, but the gloves have been great. I attribute a lot of that to the guy sitting to my left here, Brandon, playing shortstop and needing to lead the infield. Our outfielders are very fast overall, cover gap to gap, and Coach Talmadge and I talked about, the biggest thing is when the bats come around, this team's going to be dangerous. And, it's gotten us to a 5-1 start in the Northern Division, got us back to even up at 10-10 overall. And really, in the last 6 games, the one game we lost is a 1-0 game to Hibbing, in which that game could have went either way. So,
well, let's talk to somebody who was there, because we weren't there. Brandon, it was that 1-0 game. Is that one? And I'll ask it this way: is that one going to haunt you guys maybe a little bit? Is it maybe not haunting you? Is it going to drive you guys and make things a little bit better going down the stretch?
Oh, yeah, I think that's going to help us along the way. I think we're going to look at that game, and that's going to be a pivotal moment in our season. I think that's going to help us with this weekend series as well, especially against Itasca. But like you said, that game could have gone any way. One hit here and there could have done it for us. But we went out there. I think Kevin was on the mound that game. Kevin threw a great game. Defense behind him was great too. We just couldn't scratch it off the board really.
I played baseball, whatever. Is it frustrating when Rob, when you lose that 1-0 game? You're just like, really, in 7 innings we couldn't push one across?
Right, yeah, it's super frustrating because it's like one base hit changes the game, right? If a guy gets on second or first or something, it takes one swing of a bat, and now it's a 1-0 game the opposite way, right? So I think we just gotta take from that and learn from that, and hopefully
is it something
work here.
Is it something that the Hibbing pitcher was very good? I mean, or is it something where you guys feel like, well, he's good, but he's not overpowering?
Well, I mean, we saw him the weekend before, and we hit him then, and that's just why baseball is the greatest game out there, right? Reasons like that. Some days it works, and some days it doesn't, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And so let's talk about today's matchup with Itasca, one of the perennial powers of the Northern Division, always sitting there at the top. They were nationally ranked. They aren't right now in the top 10, but obviously they're in the top 10 for a reason. What is it, Coach, that they do so well?
Well, I think, they're just their season. They've got their sophomores come back and get their next group of freshmen, ready to go. I think we do a good job of doing the same thing. I know the games between us and them have always been very competitive. We've come out on the top end a few times, and then there's been times where we've had leads and thought we had it wrapped up, and they've come back and snuck a home run in extra inning.
We're thinking about that home run, aren't we? We're thinking about the same one.
Yeah, the same one. But the nice piece is, or I guess the different piece is, because we're here from year to year, you and I and Coach Lampa, we look at this as a program and a program, and because we're here from year to year to year. And the thing that I think we have to keep in perspective is every year we're working with a different group of guys. So a lot of that, I think, has to do with the coaching staffs and consistency within the coaching staffs and how you handle your players. And I think that's why Itasca has been good for a while. They've had consistency in their coaching staff. I think that's why we are where we are now, is because we've had really good consistency in our coaching staff over the last 5-6 years. And so there's a lot to be said for that consistency in coaching.
Jay, you know any of those guys off the Itasca team? Any of those guys either teammates or rivals for you?
No, I don't know anybody. I know that they're competitive. I know they're going to come ready to go. We have to do the same. They're well coached. They're mentally focused all the time. They're just ready to go all the time, and we got to do the same thing.
You guys got 4 games against them over the next 2 days. Two at home today, 2 tomorrow. Do we know where we're playing yet tomorrow?
Yes, we're going to be playing in Cohasset.
In Cohasset, okay. So you got 4 games against them. Like you said, hopefully, what I guess I'd like to think is the top 2 teams in the division. So is there a lot for this? I mean, obviously there's a lot riding on the weekend, but if things don't go the Voyagers' way, there's still a lot of baseball left to be played, right, Brandon?
Oh, absolutely. And that's kind of how you have to look at it. In my opinion, this is one of the biggest series of the season. You know, us and them are going to be battling out for the Northern Division. But you got to take it one game at a time, one inning at a time, just like Koenig preaches to us all the time. It's going to be a good series. It's going to be a great series.
And of course, without a Northern Division playoff to get all your team games in, there's no playoff, so you really can't have quote unquote a bad weekend, Coach. You got to come and your regular season record is what's going to determine whether you make the region tournament.
Right, and this year the way the format is we have to finish top 2, and you know, by taking 3 out of 4 from Hibbing, that helped. You know, we took the first 2 games from Mesabi Range. We've got a lot of baseball ahead of us. We've got the 4 games this weekend. We've got next weekend against Vermilion, and then we've got one more doubleheader with Mesabi. So, I mean, ultimately, I keep telling these guys, don't look too far ahead. Take what's in front of you right now. Take it game by game, because ultimately, at the end of the day, they control their own destiny, and they've got to do it one game at a time. And I've had teams that have tried to look ahead, and they see themselves going home instead of going to the region tournament.
Rob, pitching will be so key this weekend with 4 games overall. Does this team have enough pitching to get through this 4-game series this weekend and do it very, very, very well?
Oh, for sure. Yeah, I have all the confidence in the world in our pitching staff. They're excellent. They can get the ball there. They get strikes, called strikes. They get outs, right? And that's the hugest thing. Is just you don't need a game with 20 strikeouts. You need 21 outs, right? So
sure.
That's the thing, and that's what our pitching staff is able to do. So if our defense and our bats are there to help them out, it should be a good weekend for ball.
Talk a little bit specifically about the guys, the pitchers. Who do you like to catch maybe the most? Not that we want to single anybody out, but you know, sometimes you have a connection with somebody, like you guys are on the same page, and you just know that you guys are it's going to happen.
Well, I've caught Kevin a lot this year, and Kevin can put the ball where I want the ball to be pitched, right? So it makes my job a lot easier when you can trust the guy to do that. But also I've caught Jonathan a lot too, and Jonathan's the same way, right? If I put my glove there, that's where I'm getting the ball, and it just makes my job a lot easier, right?
Yeah, and it makes it easier for the umpires too, because that is such a key. Region tournament back in St. Cloud again? Is that the? It
is. Yeah, it's going to be Wednesday, May 16th through Saturday, May 19th. They bumped it up a day because of what happened last year with some rain and stuff, and then it ended up having to go into that following week. But and then they're going to use that Sunday as a rain day for the championship game.
It's going to come very quickly, guys. The end, like I said, we got a couple of weekends left, and then off we go. Thanks for being here this morning. Best of luck this weekend. Hope you guys get the Vikings and knock them. Put a little snot bubbler on them and take at least 3 out of 4. I'm not asking for the world. Just 3 out of 4. Okay.
4 would be awesome.
3 out of 4 would be great. Rob Ermel, Brandon Holberg, Jay Cheney, and head coach Josh Koenig joining me here this morning. We're going to take a break, and we're going to come back and we're going to talk Bronco softball. You're listening to Coach's Corner live from Hardee's on K104 and online at rjbroadcasting.com. Welcome back to Coach's Corner. Wow. Joined by the Broncos softball team, and of course Amber Thielander and I were reminiscing about all the good old times that we've had and everything that's we'll have these memories and everything else. Mariah Leahy, Carrie Myers, head coach Shelby Nosen joining me here. You guys made short work of the trip over to Baudette yesterday, Amber. You took care of business. Can I say it that way?
Yeah, I would say you could say it that way.
Take care of business.
We went there to do one thing, and we put our minds to it, and we got it done.
Sometimes those kind of games, and I don't want to be whatever, sometimes one of those games that you're supposed to win easy and you're supposed to take care of business, those are the ones that sometimes you look past. But I was very pleased when I got the report yesterday that you guys had done what we were supposed to do. Yes?
Yep, I think so.
Did it start with her, though? In the circle? Did it start? No, you get to answer this one. Did it start with her? In the circle, doing her thing?
Yeah, it started out with her, for sure.
Yeah.
Doing what, that's what it was first, right? Yeah. She started us pretty good. Then Our first off, I will say our batting at the first time was pretty good. When we just kind of got on base, started it off, and went from there. And then right when we got on the field, Mariah took care of business also.
Mariah, the pitcher, in case you haven't figured that out yet, in case you haven't been following Broncos softball, she's the junior pitcher. And how's the season gone? You guys are 5-1. Do you feel like you're in mid-season form despite the awful weather that we've been having?
Well, it was tough coming from my injury last year, but I think I've come through to that, and I think the season's going pretty well for us.
We always talk about injuries, and I know we were talking about it at the baseball game yesterday. Is it something that's not in your mind anymore? You're out there loose and carefree, and you're not thinking about it at all?
Yeah, I try to take my mind off it. I don't want to go through that again. It was really tough during playoffs last year.
Absolutely. Carrie, you're playing catcher. I haven't got to see you guys play live, but I'm assuming that you're behind the plate.
Yes, I am.
She's doing well.
I mean, I don't want to brag. No, I'm joking. No, yeah. I feel I'm doing pretty well, and it's really helpful having Mariah at the plate. I mean, on the mound. She's a really good pitcher and pulls our team through a lot, so.
We were just talking about it with the Rainy River baseball team. Their catcher was sitting right here, and he talked about being able to just, I put my glove where I want it, and these guys, they put it in the glove. Has Mariah had that kind of control this year, that when you ask for the ball to be down here at the knees or you ask for it on the corner, she's been able to do that?
Yeah, she really helps me out behind the plate. Not too much work back there with her, so.
You mean like not having to run to the fence, right? I mean, that's
exactly.
Exactly.
There's been a couple times.
Yeah, maybe a few here and there.
Even the major league guys send them to the backstop every once in a while. So if they happen at this level, we'll take that. Coach, are you pleased with where this team is at?
Yes, I'm definitely pleased, and I know the rest of the girls, besides my battery here, I work with the battery a lot, and the rest of them get a little jealous sometimes when I don't make them do like the extra things that they have to do, so I favor my battery a little bit.
You're talking about like the quarterbacks. When I used to coach the football, the quarterbacks would run down to the other end of the field and they'd throw the ball over the goal post, and then they'd sit and talk for like 10 minutes, and while everybody else was sweating, they had their helmet. Yeah, no, I know it's not that way, but
not quite the same. They work very
pretty
hard.
close, yeah.
Yeah, but the other girls sometimes give me a little flack for it, but
let's talk about last weekend, the tournament over at Badger Greenbush Middle River. Obviously a very long day. You guys got up early, and I believe I heard you guys didn't get done playing till 10:30 or so. But talk about your guys' play last weekend.
Yeah, I was really happy with our overall performance for the weekend. Our championship game didn't start until after 8 o'clock at night, so I think the girls understand that I was not upset with them for our 7 errors we had, but being that they were mental errors, so I understand it was a long day, and I didn't yell at them, so I think they were sad, and they should be. It's tough to lose and get second place, but we kind of want our vengeance too, so we've been looking forward to our next games here. Yeah,
you lost to Badger Greenbush Middle River, a team that has perennially been in the state tournament. Let's just be honest, and I can't say where they're at this year, but I know a very good program, so a 7-5 loss is something that you can build off of and go forward. It's been nice to get outside and get these games in, but let's talk about this week. Cherry on Tuesday. What else have we got? Because I'm sure we got Nashwauk on Thursday. Yeah. Little Fork on Friday. We might have to talk about that a little bit later. We'll keep everybody stay tuned.
Evelyn Gilbert is after that, I think, and we saw them at the tournament too, so it was good to watch them a little bit.
And I'm going to ask this question. You brought up Evelyn Gilbert, and I'm going to go here. You guys didn't play in the IRC tournament yesterday. Was that a conscious choice? Does everybody maybe have to rotate out? What was maybe the rationale? And I'm not trying to be whatever. I just kind of wondered why.
Yeah, I guess I just had heard from Mr. Gordon himself and our other coaches that it just hasn't been very competitive the last few years, and they suggested maybe looking into some other ones. So, and I had always participated in the Greenbush tournament, and it was always a really competitive tournament for us. And I thought it was, our first couple games not so much, but the last game gave us some things that we had to work on and to learn from. So, I think we were happy with that.
Fair enough answer. I like it. We really haven't had a chance to have a really nice day and get out there. And I commented to somebody the other day, the girls are really hitting the ball, but I think they can do it better. Am I asking too much, Mariah? Have I got the goals up here too high? Because you guys are wrapping out maybe 11, 12 hits, but then you guys got 19 yesterday, and I'm like, okay. It just seemed to be that way. Has the hitting not maybe been where it's going to be when the temperatures rise as well?
Well, I think we could do a lot better. We've been hitting a lot of pop-ups lately, and coach has been getting on us about that. But I think we're going to do a little better. We got to get our mindset so that we say we can hit the ball and not thinking about the pop-ups.
So what's the key to not hitting the pop-up? Don't look. What's the key? What is she saying to you? I'm curious.
You gotta, drive the ball.
Got to drive the ball. Hit the top half of the baseball. I'm sorry. Line drives up the middle. Like I said yesterday, 19 hits. Is that a product of finally maybe they're getting it, coach, that they're understanding what they need to do?
Yeah, and I think game time, it's always a lot more pressure. And I just felt like, a few games earlier, we've been thinking about not hitting pop-ups or not striking out, and when you think about that, that's more than likely going to happen if that's what you're thinking about. So we're trying to switch our mentality a little bit here, and I think it's working out a little bit slowly, but we'll get there.
Yeah, they always say after a timeout, don't tell the punter, if this bad thing happens, do this, and just go out and punt the ball, those kinds of things. Let's talk about Friday's game a little bit against Little Fork. You guys got to play them last weekend. 12-1 was the final score. But of course, it'll be here in the Falls, and obviously it's always a rivalry game, Amber. So is it something that, this is going to be the last time you're going to get to play against the Vikings? May is going to be full of these. It's just part of life.
All right, you're going way too fast here.
I'm moving way too.
We're not even into May yet. We got a little bit of time. Not
but
much.
It'll be May on Tuesday.
No, we still got time, so we got to slow down.
It will be a different game, you would assume, on Friday. I mean, like I said, it's going to be here. It's not going to be in a tournament format.
Well, I think we're both really competitive teams, and even especially playing against each other, we're the rivals, right? So we're going to go out there, and each team is going to play as hard as they can, and they're going to. I'm trying to think of the right word. But they're going to try to just play their best to take in the win. They're going to do the little things. They're going to try to hit the ball. They're going to throw the pitches. They're going to do all the things that we're going to try to do and keep the game going and keep it a competitive game.
Is it tough, because you guys know each other so well, is it tough to go out there and do that against those kinds of teams, Carrie? Or is it something where, you just want to press your thumb down on them and,
Well, at the beginning of the game, it seems like, I'm playing against my friends. I can't, I don't want to be too whatever. And then once the game gets going, I feel like you don't even realize that you're playing against your team or against your friends or anything. It's just like, want to go out there and win.
Yeah.
Is there a game left on the schedule besides that one that kind of is sitting out there in your guys' minds that this is going to be a big one? I know we probably talked about this a month ago, but now that we're into it, is there maybe a game that's out there, Amber, that's bigger than another?
Well, I'm still thinking about Rapids and Bemidji for sure. Virginia. That's on my top. Virginia. Those are on my top because Virginia is always that game that we played last year keeps sticking in our heads, and we're like, God, we could have won all this stuff that could have happened, but now we just change our mindset to be like, this is what we need to do. This is what we have to do to keep those games going.
Yeah, it's Virginia with their lefty, you got somebody who can come in and throw left-handed, coach. I'm serious, because it's different.
Coach Carey, he's a lefty.
I did not know that.
So front toss from a lefty, we'll be doing lots of that before that Virginia game. So
the schedule is compressed, but it's not too bad, right? I mean, you're still going to have a chance. I know in past years I've talked with Coach Gordon. He said, we got 8 games in 8 days. No time to practice. It looks like the schedule is still going to leave you some time to get out onto the field and work on those things when things aren't going right. Is that
right.
That's pretty favorable, right?
Yes, and that's I lived it as a player, and then as a coach, coming into the season, I had this grand master plan of how I was going to have my practices laid out on days before games, and that just all went out the window. So, but it's still good. I just have to take it day by day and game by game and see what we need to work on for the next practice. So.
What's the number one thing this team needs to work on heading into May, because it's not May yet? What's the number one thing this team needs to work on?
I I could say hitting could be a lot better, but overall we are focusing as much as we can, but there's way more that we can do. There's not so many things that we need to fix, so many things that we have to do. It's none of that stuff. It's just little tiny details that are going to make us be that much better in the next week.
I don't want to wake up the sleeping giant if he or she is still sleeping, but defense always is a key, because you got to field those bunts and you got to do those things. Has this team coach been doing the defensive things to be successful?
Yeah, and I mean overall on defense, I came into a very well advanced program from Mr. Gordon and the other coaches. I'm very lucky. They're very fundamentally sound. I think we need to work on that strategy a little bit more too, because there's smart teams out there and smart coaches who are going to try and find our weaknesses on defense, whether we're not covering third on the bunts, if we're not fielding the bunts and getting that extra base.
Could you feel that over the airwaves? Because I felt it here.
It's only happened once, so we just don't want it to happen
And once
again.
is all it's going to happen,
Yes,
right?
exactly.
Absolutely. Ladies, thanks for being here. Enjoy prom tonight. Stay safe. And then let's get back to work in May, and let's make it into June. How's that sound?
Sound good.
And then we don't have to worry about maybe
Yeah,
in
there
the
we go,
last.
then it's done.
Then we don't have to worry about it. Amber Thielander, Mariah Leahy, Carrie Myers, and head coach Shelby
you.
Knowles joining me here. We'll take a break and we'll come back and we'll wrap it up from Hardy's. You're listening to the Coach's Corner on K104 and online at rjbroadcasting.com. Welcome back to Coach's Corner for our final segment. Let's get right into it. Talk about the wrap-up of the week. We just got done talking about the Broncos softball team. They went 2-1 at the BGMR tournament. They got an 11-1 win over Grand Forks Red River in 6 innings. Leahy pitched 5 innings, striking out 7. Grace Bragg and Carrie Myers each had 3 hits. In Game 2 of that game, the Broncos played Little Fork Big Falls, came away with a 12-1 win in 5 innings. Grace Bragg, had a pair of hits and 6 RBIs in the championship game. The Broncos lost to the host team, the BGMR Gators. The Gators got 3 runs in the top of the 7th to win that game by a score of 7-5. Bragg had a hit and 3 more RBIs in that game. That means in 3 games in that tournament, Grace Bragg had 11 RBI. The Little Fork Big Falls Vikings softball team was out at that same tournament. They went 1-2. They defeated Fargo Davies 15-4 in the first game, then lost to the Falls 12-1, and finished up by losing to Grand Forks Central 6-5. On Sunday, the Rainy River baseball team swept a doubleheader from Mesabi Range down in Proctor. Scores 8-2 and 7-3. In the 8-2 game, Jonathan Castellanos got the win on the mound. He had 9 Ks, and that was good enough to be named Northern Division Pitcher of the Week. The Voyagers made the most of their 7 hits and 4 walks in that game, as they got just 11 runners that way and scored 8 runs. Elijah Hart had a solo home run in that game. In the 7-3 game, Giovanni Romo was the winning pitcher, as he scattered 9 hits. He struck out 4 in 4 innings of work. Keanu Kalamayan and Rashid Bernard each had a pair of hits at the plate. On Monday, the Bronco baseball team opened their 2018 season with a 4-0 loss on the road at Warroad. The Falls had 4 hits in the game, and one of them was a triple by Trimble Butler. Joe Glowak pitched a complete game with 4 Ks. On Tuesday, the Bronco baseball team was right back at it, this time at home, and they gave up 10 runs to the Evelyn Gilbert Golden Bears in the 4th inning and ended up losing by a final score of 19-5 in 5 innings. Trimble Butler and Carter Germain each had a pair of hits in the game, as Butler had a triple and a home run. On Tuesday, the Little Fork Big Falls Vikings softball team defeated Mountain Iron Buell 10-0. Anna Imhoff was the winning pitcher, and she and Kate Knabel and Kenzie Swenson each had 2 hits. The Bronco softball team went on the road and defeated Hibbing 18-0 in 4 innings. Mariah Leahy was the winning pitcher, as she went 3 for 4 with 6 RBI. Carrie Myers was 3 for 3 with 3 RBIs, and Janet Humbert 2 for 4 with 4 RBIs. Grace Bragg continued her hot hitting ways as well, 4 for 4, and Amber Thielander scored 4 runs. The Bronco track and field teams had their only home meet of the year, as the first one was canceled. The girls won the meet with 237 points as they outdistanced GNK, who had only 107. Big Fork 98. Fort Francis took 6th out of 7 teams with 44.5. Top finishes for the Broncos: 4x800 took first, 4x2 took second, the 4x1 took second, and the 4x4 relay took second as well. Summer Hezedal took 3rd in the 100 hurdles. Grace Gilbert 3rd in the 100, 3rd in the pole vault. Ryan Ford 2nd in the 1600, 3rd in the triple jump. Madison Lowe 2nd in the 300 hurdles. Avery Savonin took a nice first place in the 3200. Jenna Sullivan first in the high jump, second in the discus, second in the shot put. Busy day for Jenna in the field, as she will be all year long. Chloe Sullivan took second in the high jump. Bailey Millette first in the long jump. Maddie Pierre second, and Melody Rule third in the long jump as the Broncos swept the top 3 spots. Olivia McBride was first in the triple jump. Emma Gilbert first in the discus and shot put. Taylor Bush was third in the discus and the shot put. For the Fort Francis Muskies, Ashlyn Beck, she took third in the 1600. Nadia Webb took second in the 200. For the Bronco boys, they took second with 147 points, just behind GNK, who had 151. Fort Francis boys took 5th place with 49.5. Top finishes for the Broncos, their 4x800 team took second, the 4x2 took third, and the 4x4 in a very exciting finish. John Coleman coming out a tenth of a second in front of the GNK team for first place in the 4x400. Kian Gonzalez first in the 110 hurdles, third in the 300 hurdles. Owen Amundsen took second in the 110 hurdles. Jake Erickson third in the 1600. Tanner Budrus, a double winner in the 400 and the 200. Hunter Wilson second in the 3200. Wyatt Albendahl was a double winner in the pole vault and the triple jump, and Jack Maxwell, took second in the pole vault. For Fort Francis, their 4x100 team took third place, and then I'm hoping I'm saying this right, it's Seneca, I hope. Or it could be Sakina, and I apologize for not having possibly have that right. Scheibler from the Muskies, he took first place in the discus, third in the shot put, and Aaron Scheibler took second in the discus. On Wednesday, the Bronco baseball team got their first win of the season with a 13-1 win in Northwoods against Cherry. May not make sense, but weather factors into that. It was a 5-inning win. Simon Palm went 2 for 4 with 5 RBIs, while Trimble Butler was 3 for 4 with 4 RBI and 3 runs scored. The LBF softball team won 17-7 over Northwoods. Emily Fairchild had 3 hits. Kate Knable and Kenzie Swenson a pair of hits for the Vikings. The Rainy River baseball team, as we talked about during our second segment, split with Hibbing, a 1-0 loss in the first game. Each team had exactly 5 hits, but Hibbing took advantage of an error in the 6th inning to score the only run of the game. The bats came to the life for the Voyagers in the second game as they won 8-2. Jay Cheney, one of our guests here this morning, was 3 for 3 at the plate, while Keanu Kalamayan was 2 for 4 with a couple of RBIs. On Thursday, the LBF softball team made quick work of Lake of the Woods with a 17-2 win. Kenzie Swenson did much of the damage as she had a double and a grand slam in that game. Emily Franz and winning pitcher Elise Larson each had a pair of hits. The track and field teams were over in War Road on Thursday. The Broncos took second place to the host team, War Road, 185-184. Just that one place made a difference who was the winner in that meet. Gwyneth Shinners was a double winner in the 800 and the pole vault. Avery Savonin took second in the 3200. Jenna Sullivan first in the high jump. Chloe Sullivan took second in the high jump, first in triple. The 4x4 and 4x800 relay teams both won. Bailey Millette was second in the long jump. Olivia McBride was second in the triple jump. Emma Gilbert first in the shot put, second in the discus. The boys were in War Road. They won the meet 172.5 to 168 for War Road. Owen Amundsen second in the 110 hurdles, first in the 300 hurdles. Keen Gonzalez second in the 300 hurdles. Hunter Wilson second in the 3200. Alex Bellinger took second in the discus, and Wyatt Almdahl took second in the triple and the pole vault. And the 4x100 relay team got the win there. Last night, the Bronco baseball team was at home. They lost to Hermantown by a final score of 8-2 in that game, as it was tied early, but then Hermantown broke the game open in the 3rd and 4th innings as they plated 6 runs in those 2 innings to defeat the Broncos by a score of 8-2. The Bronco softball team got that 15-0 win on the road at Lake of the Woods. The golf team took 11th down at Pekegama in an 18-team meet there. And I failed to mention this during the first segment. I got going reading my other stuff and I missed this out. Emma Gilbert was down at the Hamlin Elite meet, which they only bring in 12 people in each event, and you got to be invited in by them. And she ended up taking second place in the shot put, same place where the state meet is held at, and nice return trip there as Emma threw 41.8 yesterday as she took second place in the shot put. What's going on this coming week? Well, it's going to be one of those busy weeks, and today the LBF softball team, they will be in Cherry for a 3:15 game. The Rainy River baseball team will be hosting Itasca in a doubleheader at 1 o'clock at Sheila Field. Rainy River turns right around, heads to Cohasset tomorrow to take on Itasca in this 4-game series this weekend. Going to do a lot of movement at the top. Maybe the Voyagers will be sitting in first place by the end of the weekend. On Monday, the Bronco boys golf team will be in Virginia for a 10 o'clock meet. The Fort Francis track team will be over in Badette for a meet. The LBF baseball team will be at home taking on Northeast Range, and the LBF softball team will be at home taking on Kelly or Northholm. For the Viking baseball team, this will be their first game of the season, and it is the first of 5 games this week for LBF. On Tuesday, the Bronco baseball team will be at home to take on the Hibbing Blue Jackets. We'll have that game for you on K104 prior to the Twins game, as the pregame will start right around 4:15. First pitch scheduled for 4:30. The girls golf team will be at Pokegama on Tuesday for a 10 o'clock meet. The Bronco softball team will be at home taking on Cherry, so there'll be a doubleheader of action going on. So make sure you get there early for your favorite parking spot, as softball and baseball will be at home on Tuesday. The LBF baseball team will be in Deer River, and the LBF softball team will be in Chisholm. On Wednesday, the Viking baseball team will have their home game against Ely. That game is scheduled to start at 5:30, not 4:30. Not exactly sure the reason for that, but the game is at 5:30. The LBF softball team will be at home against Deer River, and the Rainy River baseball team will be hosting Northwind College JV team on Wednesday at home at Sheila Field. On Thursday, the Bronco baseball team will be at home against Virginia. The Bronco softball team will be in Nashwauk-Keewatin. The Viking baseball team will be at home against Chisholm, and the Viking softball team will be at home against Black Duck. On Friday, of course, the border battle in softball between the Broncos and the Vikings. Will have that game for you. Preston Otterson will be there to bring you the coverage. Pre-game starts at 4:15. First pitch at 4:30 from the Bronco softball field. The Bronco baseball team will be at Mesabi East, and the boys and girls golf teams will be in Hibbing for a meet on Friday morning beginning at 9 o'clock. On Saturday, the girls golf team will be heading for the Quarry as they continue to get their busy season started. Rainy River baseball will be at home next Saturday against Vermilion for a doubleheader, and the track and field teams will be in Hibbing for a 10 o'clock meet next Saturday. That's going to wrap it up for us. Thanks to Ryan back at the station for pushing all the buttons. Thanks to everybody here at Hardy's for taking care of our guests. Thanks to our guests, the Rainy River baseball team and the Bronco softball team. But most of all, thank you for listening to Coach's Corner, live from Hardy's on K104 and online at rjbroadcasting.com.